Sales is the most lucrative skill in the world, period. The problem is most sales advice out there today is outdated, cheesy, and could even keep you from the deals that can make all the difference in your career. This is the No BS Sales School, a podcast for entrepreneurs and salespeople who want to master the skill of selling without all the BS. I was teaching a class this morning, and the topic wasn't this, but we spent a lot of time on when you go into a sales call, what's an ideal outcome for you, the salesperson? What's the best case scenario that you can expect? And it's funny, I ask people this question like, maybe another meeting, or have the decision maker, come meet with me, or maybe we schedule another time or a demo. I'm like, no, hell no, that's not an ideal outcome. At best, that's a secondary outcome. Ideal outcome is that they give you a check for something. Ideal outcome is that they sign a contract. Let's pretend for a minute that this person you're talking to, you're meeting with, trusted you implicitly. Maybe they're a family member who trusts you implicitly, if that exists, right? They know you well, they trust you, they need what you have, they have pain, and there's nobody else in the world they're coming to. What would be a step? What's the ideal outcome in that kind of meeting? I don't know, Walker. Ideal outcome might be that they sign a contract. Give me a check. Let's get going, right? That can happen, even if you sell something super expensive and complicated. Now, you may not want to take on somebody right out of the chute with a check and a contract. You may have to do your own diligence, and that's a whole nother deal, right? But if you don't know what you're looking for when you go into a sales call, if you don't have a specific ideal outcome that you're asking for at the beginning of the call, your sales cycle is probably too long. Because just remember, your prospects don't know how to buy from you. They don't have a freaking clue how to buy from you. They've been trained by shitty salespeople, right? Shitty salespeople that come in and vomit information, want to create a proposal, send it out, get pricing. They don't know, they don't care their stuff's getting shopped everywhere. Well, you do, and you should care that your stuff's getting shopped everywhere. Quit going for that shit. Have an ideal outcome for your meeting. What is something, we've talked about this in other episodes, what's a monkey's fist? What's a monkey's paw? A short step that somebody can pay you for at the first meeting. Maybe it's a deep dive. Maybe it is it's an evaluation. It is an appraisal. It is an examination of something. Maybe it's information that you would ordinarily give away for free. But if you charge for it, it does a couple things. Number one, it weeds out those people that aren't really interested in working just with you, or they're still shopping around for a bunch of other information that's not ready yet. It's not time. But those people that will write you a check, right, to come do, like I said, an evaluation, a study, a deep dive, or whatever the hell it is that they pay you to come do, it doesn't matter what it costs. It needs to be, if you sell something that costs $1 million, you can't sell a little simple thing for $100. It doesn't do you any good. But at least $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $100,000. Because here's the thing. You need to be the expert. They need to, and the only way that you are the expert, and it ain't because you talk so smart, the only way that the prospect sees you as the expert is after they've written you a check. When they've written you a check of some kind to do something, they have ceded to you that you're the expert, right? So I want you to keep in mind, figure out what is that thing that you can now sell instead of give it away. And yeah, I know all your competitors give it away for free. Big shit. I love selling it gets free. If your competitors give it away for free, that's awesome. They go, well, I can get it for free from some of your other competitors. You say, hey, that's great. You probably should. If you knew that other people paid me for this information and said they're glad they did, why do you think they do that? Why do you think they do that? Right? Ask, don't tell. Don't give your shit away for free. So let people know at the beginning of the meeting, look, let's get together and figure out whether or not it makes sense for you to hire us to do a study, a deep dive, an evaluation, or whatever into what's going on in your world right now. At the end of that time, at the end of this meeting, You're not sure you want to pay us somewhere between, whatever your number is, $5,000 and $7,000, $500 and $700, whatever the number is. If you're not sure you want to do that, let's call it a no. However, if at the end of the meeting you're thinking, hey, this does make some sense, and I'm thinking, yeah, this might make some sense, I might like that, you write me a check, we go off, or I'll take your credit card, whatever. We'll go off, we'll get to work, meet again in 2 weeks, show you what we found. At that point, you can decide whether or not you want to hire us. Now, just because somebody has hired you to do an initial study and they've spent $500, $5,000, $15,000, whatever it is, doesn't mean 100% you'll get the business. But I promise your odds go way the hell up for somebody that's written you a check one time before to go get the information they don't have on their own. I'll compete against free all day long, and I think you should not be afraid of it either. I'm Walker McKay with No BS Sales. Figure out what an ideal outcome is for every single sales call you go on. Tell your prospect, this is what typically happens at the end of a call. We're deciding whether or not we do this. Are you going to be okay with that? If they say no, you can always back up and say, okay, other times we're doing this. But ask for ideal. You know what's funny? Somebody's going to say yes. And once you do it once, somebody else is going to say yes. And once you've gotten yes twice to your ideal outcome, you'll be pissed off if you ever do that for free again, or if you ever accept less than when you're meeting with a prospect. Go be bold in this marketplace. Don't watch the news. Just know the world is burning. Forget about it. Who cares? You've got work to do. You've got a family to feed. You've got your dreams and your goals to go after, just like me. And I can't pay attention to the news because that ain't ever going to help me. Go ask for ideal. And if you can't get ideal, take it as a no, move on, go to the next. Thanks for listening to the No BS Sales School podcast. If you're struggling to close deals, then I want to invite you to take my free mini course where you'll learn the 7 most expensive sales mistakes that will cost you time, money, and credibility. So be sure to click the link in the show notes or go to www.7salesmistakes.com. That's the number 7salesmistakes.com. Thanks again for listening to the No BS Sales School podcast.